Good day and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to today's education based IHSAA Varsity Boys Baseball game. This radio coverage is made possible through audiosportsonline.net. That's ASO, that's Rob Kendall. Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show, weekday mornings 9 to noon on 93.1 FM, or go to WIBC.com. Today's game features the Central Catholic Knights. Knights travel, they go a little bit to the west to do battle with the Benton Central Bison. Right now, the home team, Benton Central Bison, head coach Jared Hamill is at home plate with the head coach from Central Catholic. That's Tim Bourdonnais. They're talking right now with the umpires. Umpire going through the different parameters there. He's working on his miniature stenographer's pad, and they're having a plate meeting right now. We'll start out mentioning a little bit about each school. First, we'll talk about the visiting team on the scoreboard. That's the Lafayette Central Catholic Knights. Their school was founded in 1956, and we'll mention they are Class 2A, Sectional 37. There are 7 in their sectional. Benton Central also in that sectional. We'll mention Benton Central, Delphi Community, Lafayette Central Catholic, North Montgomery, Rensselaer Central, Seeger, Western Boone. The principal at Central Catholic High School is Darrell Beck. The athletic director is Tim Bourdonnais. Central Catholic High School is located at 2410 South 9th Street, Lafayette, Indiana, 47909. You can dial them up by telephone at 765-474-2496. On the website, it's lccathletics.com. They wear the colors navy blue and white. They perform in the Hoosier Conference. Head coach of the Central Catholic Knights is Tim Bourdonnais. He's a 1987 graduate from Central Catholic High School. Now we'll talk about the home team. The home team on the scoreboard, that's the Benton Central Bison. Benton Central High School was founded in 1968. They're Class 2A, Sectional 37. There are 7 in their sectional. Again, those sectional members are Benton Central Bison, Delphi Oracles, Central Catholic Knights, North Montgomery Chargers, Rensselaer Central Bombers, Seeger Patriots, Western Boone Stars. The principal at Benton Central High School is Corey Robb. The athletic director, he's most instrumental for putting me in sports. We are thankful for Mr. Jared Hall. And his helper right there in the office, athletic secretary, is Carrie Smith. Benton Central High School is located at 4241 East 300 South, Oxford, Indiana, 47971. You can dial them by telephone at 765-884-1600. On the website, it's BentonCentralAthletics.com. They wear the collars green and gold. And they also perform in the Hoosier Conference. Head coach of the Benton Central Bison is Jarrett Hamill. So we'll mention the game getting ready to begin. Both teams still around their dugout. There we'll mention on the field today. Going to start out the ball game. Home team on the scoreboard, Benton Central. Their pitcher today will be Nolan Winkler. Nolan Winkler, he wears number 17. Nolan Winkler, we'll mention, he's been in the ball game for 2 1/3 innings so far this season. This will be appearance number 3. He's given up just 1 hit. 3 base on balls. He has struck out 5 batters. Nolan Winkler, he has faced 15. And at-bats, official at-bats, 10 of those 15 official at-bats. He's thrown 64 pitches. He'll pitch today. That's Nolan Winkler for Benton Central. His battery partner, his catcher in the ball game, he's a veteran. That is Grant Weiss. He'll wear number 12. At first base, number 23, Kadrick Tyson. At second base, number 13, Lucas Snyder. At shortstop, number 4, Carter Fox. At third base, number 2, Tanner Pitstock. In left field for Benton Central, number 8, Caden Kolewski. In center field, number 5, Spencer Fluke. And in right field, number 15, Miles Cooley. So they're getting ready to play some baseball. Beautiful field, chlorophylled, we'll mention. The home run fence has a green backstop behind the pitcher's rubber. They're getting ready for the national anthem. And it has a nice setting for batters to see green behind the pitching baseball, easy to pick up. So they're going to have the national anthem. And we'll set this down. That was our national anthem. That was Memorex. Sounded nice. Female voice. And we're up in the press box, and we'll mention both teams getting ready to go at it. We'll mention both teams did play last night. They're going to play again tonight. We'll mention the home run fence, the dimensions down each foul line, down the corners, 330 feet. In left center, it's 345. And straight away, pretty much straight across, is 350 feet. So on the pitcher's rubber, going to get warmed up, Nolan Winkler for Benton Central. And I tell you what, Coach Hamill let me know a little bit before the game. They've got some players that are playing college baseball right now. They had 12 graduate a year ago, seniors that I will mention. Tyler Clemmy at Taylor High School, Taylor College. He was in the North-South All-Star game last year. He's a freshman at Taylor. Also, Balin Holmes, he's at IU Columbus. And he played first base. He's playing first base right now for IU Columbus. And we'll also mention another freshman this year in college baseball, Dylan Ford. Dylan Ford is at Marion Ancilla. That's an Indiana school. He's an infielder and a pitcher at Marion Ancilla. So they're getting some warm-up tosses right there on the pitcher's rubber. Right-handed pitcher, Nolan Winkler, throwing the ball around the infield. And the Knights getting ready to bat here in the top of the first inning. And I'm getting ready to step in here momentarily. We do thank you for tuning in. We'll mention public address has just arrived. And these guys are going to do a great job, I'm sure. And baseball on a Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday, pretty much slotted for conference days, if they can happen without Mother Nature interrupting. So stepping in, first batter in the ball game, going to be Hudson Gutwine. He wears number 9. And working from the stretch primarily of a relief pitcher. First pitch just above the zone, ball 1 from Winkler, 6:01 p.m. 5:01 right here Central Time. Working out a stretch, now the set. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch, got the dish, broke away, strike called. Count goes 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Working out a stretch, now the set. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hudson Gutwine batting. Outfield playing straight away. Infield playing regular positions. Here comes the 1-2. Outside and low, ball 2. Count goes 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, early going, top of the first inning. Out of the set, here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch, going to take it to the left field. Going to actually get the gap there. Going to get to the warning track. You'll pick it up. That's center fielder Spencer Fluke. And Hudson Gutwein has a 2-base hit. He's at second base. Next batter for the night is going to step in, Alex Schumer. Alex Schumer wears number 12. He'll play the catcher's position in this ball game. Left-handed batter. Schumer going to put a sliding mid on. Back to second base. Looking at signals, third base coach is Schumer. Coach Bourdonnais, third base coach. Out of the set position, check second base. Here's the pitch from Winkler. Just misses above the zone, a bit outside. Count goes 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. Umpires wearing the dark blue. That's customary for high school. They're wearing the sleeves. They're not wearing the over jacket. Here comes the pitch from Winkler. Takes a pitch called strike, outside half. 1 ball, 1 strike. He'll step back in. Working out the stretch, now the set. He'll check second base. Check it again. And here's the pitch. Going to be hit by pitch. And Schumer will jog down to first base. And so runners aboard first and second base for the Knights. And Schumer is going to give way to the courtesy runner. And going out to run for Schumer is number 14, Jonah Gerke. Runners at first and second base. Stepping into bat for the Knights, number 10, Lucas Gerke. He'll step back out. He'll step back in. Working from the stretch, Nolan Winkler. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of the set position, check second base. He'll check again. Here's the pitch to Gerke. He's going to square the bunt early. Inside and tight. Breaking pitch. Kind of gets out of the way. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Looking at signals, he'll step back in. Peering in, looking at signals from pitcher's rubber is Nolan Winkler. Out of the set, he'll check second. Here comes the pitch. Trying to put a bunt down. He's going to pop it back to the screen. The count goes 1-1 to Gerke. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 aboard for the Knights. Top of the first inning. Third batter in the lineup, Lucas Gerke. He'll walk around the pitcher's rubber there. He'll step in now. Nolan Winkler, peering in, looking at signals. Out of the set position. He'll check second. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 count, 3-hitter, Lucas Gerke. Top of the first inning. We're at Benton Central High School. What a nice natural setting. Going to take a shot to left field. Going to be right at the left fielder. Going to pull in. Couldn't quite get a glove on it. He'll retrieve it. And coming around third base, scoring the first run of the ball game is Hudson Gutwein. So Caden Kolewski brings the ball back in. Runners at second and third base. Going to be a single and an RBI off the bat of Gerke. Timeout on the ball field. Coach Jared Hamill going to walk out, have conversation with his pitcher and catcher. And we'll also mention Trayvon Shoaf. He's a sophomore. He graduated a couple of years ago from Benton Central. He's now playing baseball at Marion Ancillas, along with Dylan Ford. And also a junior class member, Jesse Stout. Jesse Stout is at Bethel College playing baseball. So they're having a conversation. We're at the pitcher's rubber, talking it over. The home plate umpire going to walk out, going to approach, just make himself known. And Coach Hamill going to walk off the surface. So nobody out. Top of the first inning. 1 run in for the Knights. Stepping into bat, 4-hitter Mikey Stapleton. Working from the stretch. Now the set position, first pitch. Breaking pitch. Nice block by Grant Weiss. Grant Weiss comes out of that catcher's position. Makes the block over to the left-handed batter's box. Peering in, looking at signals. Nolan Winkler out of the set. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, ground ball foul of third base. Count goes 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Very few signals given. You'll step back in, right-handed batter. Facing the righty, Nolan Winkler. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Count goes 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mikey Stapleton, right-handed batter's box. Facing the righty, Nolan Winkler. Out of the set position. Here comes the pitch. Just above the zone, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third base for the Knights. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of the stretch, Nolan Winkler. Out of the set position. Here comes the 2-2. Swing and a miss. And Stapleton will go down swinging. There's 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Next batter to step in for the Knights, number 33, DJ Gilkey. DJ Gilkey plays third base for the Knights. Left-handed batter. A little bit of an open stance. Peering in, looking at signals. Winkler out of the set. Here comes the pitch. Strike called, knee high, outside half. No balls, 1 strike. Look at signals, very few given. Peering in, looking at signals. Nolan Winkler out of the set. Here comes the pitch. Outside of ball. Count goes 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the first inning, 1 out. Knights have runners at second and third. Out of the set for Winkler. Here comes the pitch. He'll take a ball low. Count goes 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Got a pitch count right there underneath the scoreboard. That makes it good. Everybody can see what's happening. Winkler at pitch number 20. Here comes the 21st pitch from Winkler. Tries to check his swing. Couldn't do it. Strike call. There's going to be a strike swinging. And the count goes 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Winkler from the stretch. Out of the set position. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Inside and tight. Ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He'll step back in. A little bit of an open stance on the instep. 3-2 count. Winkler from the stretch. Now the set. Here comes the pitch. He'll go down swinging, and the Knights have 2 out here in the top of the first inning. Next batter to step in for the Knights is going to be number 3, Jackson Kane. Jackson Kane, the DH in the ball game. He'll bat in place of defensive player. He'll do the pitching. Number 25, Vincent Talenko will pitch for the Knights. Working out a stretch. Now the set. First pitch to Kane. He'll foul 1 back. Going to get the screen. Count goes 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. He'll adjust the batting gloves. And he'll step back in. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Runners at second and third. Out of the set position. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch finishes just above the zone. Count goes 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Peering in, looking at signals. Nolan Winkler out of the set position. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Breaking pitch. Good block there by Weiss. Count goes 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Kane steps back in. Peering in, looking at signals. Nolan Winkler out of the set. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Outside edge, strike call. Count goes 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Knights batting in the top of the first inning. We're at Benton Central, Bison High School. Out of set. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Breaking pitch. Jackson Kane going to take it to center field. Going to get the gap right side. He's going to go back to the warning track. Picking it up there is Spencer Fluke. And Jackson Kane going to round second base. Going to try for a triple. They'll put the tag in there and they'll get him. He's out at third base. Jackson Kane going to pick up 2 RBI. He'll get credit for a double. They'll throw him out at third base, and that'll be 3 outs in the top of the first. So the Knights going to play defensively, and Benton Central Bison will come to the plate in the bottom half of this first inning. We do thank you for tuning in. We'll mention this game is in parts being brought to you by McCormick Printing. Before we dive back into action, we want to spotlight a business that's been printing success in our community for 50 incredible years. McCormick Printing Impressions. From business cards to banners, T-shirts to office supplies, MPI is your local full-service print shop, delivering quality, great service, and creativity in every project. Family-owned and operated for 2 generations, MPI knows that your first impression matters. So they make sure it's a good one. Next time you need something printed with perfection, turn to MPI, because at McCormick's Printing Impressions, they don't just print, they help you make your best impression. That's McCormick Printing. They're in Tipton. Get some warm-up tosses right there on the pitcher's rubber for the Knights is Vincent Talenko. Talenko wears number 25. His battery partner, his catcher, is Alex Schumer wearing number 12. At first base, it's number 10, Lucas Gerke. At second base, number 9, Hudson Gutwein. At shortstop, it's number 11, Mikey Stapleton. At third base, number 33, DJ Gilkey. In left field, number 41. Number 41, that's Brennan Van Kirk. And in center field, number 13, Calvin Reisman. In right field, number 5, Colton Minnick. We'll mention a little bit about pitching for Talenko. Talenko going to pitch here in the top and the bottom of the first inning. Talenko has 4 innings under his belt. He's pitched in 1 game. He started that game. He'll get his second start today. And we'll mention he's faced 17 batters. He's thrown 58 pitches. And I will also mention he's given up 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned, 1 base on balls, and 1 strikeout, and 1 looking, stepping in. Ground ball, second base, leadoff batter for Benton Central, number 13, Lucas Snyder. Ground out to Gutwein. There's 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Next batter going to step in, the 2-hitter. That's Carter Fox. Carter Fox going to bat here in the bottom of this first inning. He's the shortstop, right-handed batter, working from the windup. Talenko. Pitch comes in low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. He'll step back in. Carter Fox. Where's number 4? Carter Fox, a junior class member. Here comes a pitch. Outside of ball. Going to get by the glove of Schumer. 2 balls, no strikes. So they'll retrieve that. They'll retrieve that with the batter in the hole. That's number 12, catcher, Grant Weiss. Here comes a wind and the 2-0 pitch. You're going to take 1 to second base. Going to get over the head of Hudson Gutwein. Going to bounce 1 time into right field. Colton Minnick throws it back in. Carter Fox is aboard with 1 out. Next batter going to step in for Benton Central, number 5, Spencer Fluke. Spencer Fluke playing center field. He's a left-handed batter. Spencer Fluke started the game last night. He was the pitcher. He's wearing those fluorescent green shoes. They look good. And athletic director Jared Hall wearing some fluorescent shoes. Pitch outside, ball 1. Going to adjust the hat there and step back in the rubber, pitching from the stretch. Vincent Talenko out of set position. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Foul ball back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, bottom of the first inning. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of the set position. Talenko, here comes the pitch. Ground ball. Gonna be a base hit through first and second base. Base hit into right field. Spencer Fluke, 2 consecutive base hits. And Bison have 2 aboard. Next batter in the lineup going to be number 12, Grant Weiss. Grant Weiss, he is the catcher. Grant Weiss going to step in, having a conference there at home plate. As you made the pitcher's rubber nearby. Schumer talking with Talenko. Schumer going to get back behind home plate now. Stepping in, Grant Weiss. Pitching from the stretch, Vincent Talenko. Out of the stretch, peering in, looking at signals. Out of the set position. He'll check second base. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch finishes above the zone. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. He'll step back in. Weiss, a right-handed batter, a right-handed catcher. Out of the set position. Check second base. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, go to second base. Line shot to Gutwein. He'll flip to first base and back safely. At first base is Spencer Fluke. They'll get the 1 out with the line out to second base. And set to bat for Benton Central is number 17, Nolan Winkler. Nolan Winkler, pretty good sized young man doing the pitching in the ball game. He'll scratch right there on the dirt with that top of that bat, and he'll step in. Working from the stretch, peering in, looking at signals, Vincent Talenko. Out of the set position, check second base. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch for a strike. Got the dish, broke away. Count goes 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. Peering in, looking at signals, Talenko. In the batter's box, Nolan Winkler. Here comes the pitch. Going to take one to right field. Line shot. Going to get over the head of Colton Minnick. Going to go to the warning track up against the screen, the home run fence. And he's going to throw back in, hit the cutoff at second base, Hudson Gutwein. And it's going to be a 2 RBI double off the bat of Nolan Winkler. So it's a 3-2 ball game here in the first inning. Still batting with 1 out, stepping in. It's going to be Kadrick Tyson. Kadrick Tyson wears number 23. And he'll step in to bat. Right-handed batter, he's going to call for time. Time granted, he's going to sport those pink batting gloves right there. Time out on the diamond. And Coach Hamill's going to call for a courtesy runner for the pitcher. Nolan Fluke. And going out to do the running is number 18, Rocky Ellis. Rocky Ellis listed as an outfielder and a right-handed pitcher. He's from West Lafayette, Indiana. He'll step in as a second base runner. 1 runner aboard for the Bison. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of the set position, Talenko checks second base. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch, ground ball. Going to be wide of third base, going to go into left field. Gets by the glove of Brennan Van Kirk. Coming around third base, going to score the tying run. Scoring that tying run was number 18, Rocky Ellis. It's a 3-3 ball game. And you're going to get credit for a single. I do believe they'll take that. Not quite sure what's the official score going to tell us. I've got a base hit and an RBI for Kadrick Tyson. Stepping into bat, Tanner Pitstock. Where's number 2, third baseman. Out of the set, here's the pitch. Ground ball, shortstop, Mikey Stapleton. Goes up the arm right there. Couldn't get it. Couldn't make the throw. Runners move to first and third base. So with 2 outs, stepping in, the 8-hitter, going to be number 15, right fielder. It'll be Miles Cooley. They're going to call timeout. They're going to have a conversation at the pitcher's rubber. And I will also mention this game is in part being brought to you by AGM Auto. At AGM Auto, you'll not only be treated with pure professionalism, You'll appreciate their state-of-the-art diagnostics and their up-to-date status of each of the AGM technicians. And AGM doesn't only work under the hood. AGM works toward the recovery and restoration of the many now beautiful cars, which are now showroom treasures, mechanically and cosmetically. To contact AGM Auto, you can dial them at 317 984 5283. Again, that number is 317 984 5283. That's AGM Auto. And you can find them on Facebook at AGM Auto LLC. They're just west of Arcadia, about a mile. Stepping into bat, Miles Cooley. Miles Cooley wears number 15. He's a right fielder. Runners at first and third base, 2 outs, bottom of the first inning. Squaring early, pulls the bat back, a ball 1. 3-3 ball game. Both teams with 3 here in the first. Bison still batting with 2 out. Out of the set position, Talenko is square to bunt. They pull the bat back. He'll let it go by. It's a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. He'll step back in. Staying in the box right there, staying close to home plate. Out of the set position, Talenko. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. He'll take one to second base, making a jump for it and making the catch is Gutwein. And the Knights get out of the inning, but not before the Bison tie the ball game in the bottom of the first inning. It's 3-3 after 1. We do thank you for tuning in, and we'll mention this game is in part being brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, family owned and operated since 1955. You can increase your yield. They have tractors, combines, corn pickers, lawnmowers, etc. Genuine John Deere equipment. New and used John Deere equipment available. Extraordinarily the best in the business. That's Reynolds. Visit them at their Atlanta, Indiana location, 1451 East 276th Street. That's just 2 miles south of 296th Street. That's the Tipton-Hamilton County line. They have 5 locations. You can reach them at Reynolds Farm Equipment by dialing 800-333-6947. Again, 800-333-6947. They're right there along US 31, the Atlanta store. You can reach them there at 317-758-4116. So they're throwing the ball around the diamond right there, getting warmed up. Nolan Winkler back out on the pitcher's rubber. Knight's going to bat in the top of the second inning. Both teams, I'll mention, third base dugout occupied customarily by Benton Central. First base dugout tonight being occupied by Central Catholic. Next batter in the lineup for Central Catholic, going to be the left fielder. That's number 41, Brennan Van Kirk. Van Kirk, a right-handed batter. Nolan Winkler going to continue pitching from the stretch. My son tells me primarily, Dad, that's because they're primarily a relief pitcher, but he's getting a start today. Breaking pitch just misses inside. Count goes 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. Peering in, looking at signals. Nolan Winkler. Out of the set. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, fouled back, out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Not a lot of wind on the diamond today. I tell you what, during the national anthem, the flag was just laying straight down. Right now, it's blowing a little bit left to right. Here comes the pitch. Low for ball 2. Good block right there. Good glove by Weiss. Count goes 2-1. Peering in, looking at signals. Winkler out of the set. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch in there for a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. I take that back. 2-2 count. 2-2 count on the scoreboard. Out of the set position. Here comes a pitch from Winkler. You're going to foul one back to the screen. Just trying to protect the zone. Got a piece of that one. Fouled it off. Count goes 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the second inning. Tie ball game at 3. Out of the set, here comes the 2-2 pitch. Breaking pitch just misses inside. Home plate umpire, very disciplined. 3-2 count. He'll step back in. 41, Brendan Van Kirk out of set. Winkler, here's the pitch. Outside of ball. He'll jog down to first base. Nobody out. Nice batting, top of the second inning. Next batter to step in. Going to be number 13, center fielder Calvin Reisman. He'll look for signals. Third base coach. Runner at first base for the Knights is Brendan Van Kirk. Peering in, looking at signals out of stretch. Nolan Winkler out of set. Here's the pitch. You're going to square the bunt. You're going to bunt one third base side. It's going to go airborne, end up a foul ball about 40 feet from home plate. So Van Kirk will jog back to first base. Getting signals once again. Calvin Reisman for Central Catholic. He'll step in, tap the plate. Working in the stretch right there, Nolan Winkler. He'll check first base out of the stretch. Now the set position. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch. Might have been a slider, not a lot of break, but got the zone. Strike call. Count goes 0-2. Calvin Reisman, right-handed batter for the Knights, working out a stretch. Now the set position for Winkler. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball. Third base going to get wide of third baseman Tanner Pitstock. It rolls into left field. Caden Kalewski. Kalewski going to toss it back in. Get back into Pitstock. And Knights have two on base. Runners at first and second base for the Knights. At first base is Calvin Reisman. At second base, Brennan Van Kirk. Next batter in the lineup for the Knights. Going to be the right fielder, number 5, Colton Minnick. Working out a stretch, peering in, looking at signals. He'll check second base out of the stretch. Now the set position. First pitch to Minnick. He'll square the bunt. He'll put a bunt down. Be fielded by the third baseman, Pitstock. He'll throw to first base. They'll get the put out with Kadrick Tyson. Tyson playing first base in the ballgame. He started last night in right field. Ended up at the pitcher's rubber. So mission accomplished right there for Colton Minnick. Moves the runners up 90 feet. So looking at signals, Hudson Gutwine. Gutwine going to step back in that second time. He's played in 5 of the 6 ball games. Out of the set, here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch in there for a strike. Right-handed batter, Gutwine, entering today's ball game, 20 plate appearances, 13 at-bats. He's batting .385. A 600 on base percentage. He got a base hit in his first at bat. Out of set. Outside of ball. 2 base hit. He ended up at second base. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners at second and third base. Knights batting with 1 out. Out of set position, Nolan Winkler. Here's the pitch. Foul ball. Severely pulled it foul. Coach Hamill had to kind of get out of the way. You know Hamill was a baseball player. He looks the status that he's about 6'5", he told me. Probably a pitcher in college. Anybody can he sure was. Got some help on that here in the press box. So stepping in, Hudson Gutwine, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out. Peering in, looking at signals. Nolan Winkler. Out of set. Here comes the pitch. Good block right there. Grant Weiss kept the ball right there in front of him. Count goes, it's a 1-2 count. And on the scoreboard. And right-handed batter, Hudson Gutwine. Out of set. Here comes the pitch. Outside of ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the scoreboard. Another good block coming out of the stance right out of the crouch. Grant Weiss to stop that beyond the left-handed batter's box. Out of stretch, now the set, the 3-2 pitch. Going to be a shot down the third baseline, going to get some chalk while on the dirt. Going to go into left field. It'll be picked up out of play, but it's a fair ball. Picked up by Kalewski. And Knights will score 2 on the 2-base hit from Gutwine. Coming in to score is Brennan Van Kirk and Calvin Reisman. It's a 5-3 contest. 1 out. Top of the second inning. Next batter in the lineup for the Knights, number 12, Alex Schumer. Schumer has played in all 6 ball games, 22 plate appearances, 19 at-bats. He's batting .316. He's got 6 hits on the season. Only one player more than him, that's Van Kirk. He's got 8. Here's the pitch. Outside, just above the zone, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 aboard for the Knights. At second base is Gutwein. Peering in, looking at signals. Nolan Winkler out of the set. He'll check second base. Here's the pitch. Inside and tight. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Schumer has 4 hits on the season. He has 6 hits, 4 singles and 2 doubles. Out of the set position, he'll check second base. Long set. Here he'll check again. Here comes a pitch from Winkler. Outside edge, strike called. Count goes 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Top of the second inning, a nice day. They said it was going to get up to 60. I believe it did. Out of the set, Winkler, he'll check second. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch, going to be a shot to shortstop. Backhands it. Throws across the diamond. Good play. Carter Fox across the diamond, getting the put out with Kadrick Tyson. And Hudson Gutwein moves to third base. 2 out here in the top of the second inning. Stepping into bat for the Knights, number 10, Lucas Gerke. Gerke's played in all 6 games. And Gerke's 20 at-bats, 18 official at-bats. Here comes the first pitch. Pitch comes in just above the zone, ball 1. Lucas Gerke has 20 at-bats, 18 official at-bats, batting .222. He's got a 300 on-base percentage. He's got 4 hits, 3 singles, and 1 double. Out of the set, here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch, going to finish low. Another good block by Grant Weiss. Nolan Winkler, pretty good control. But he's got the curveball working. He gets it dialed in. He's thrown that curveball for several strikes thus far in the ball game. Working from the stretch, now the set. Here comes the pitch. Outside a ball. 3 balls, no strikes. Peering down, looking for signals. None given by Gerke. He'll step back in. Working from a stretch, now the set. Here comes the pitch. Taken all the way. Strike called. Fastball, knee high. Count goes 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Peering in, looking at signals. Now the set. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Off the glove of Winkler, but not far laterally to his left. Count goes 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gerke, a little bit of a straightaway stance. Here comes a 3-2 pitch. Just misses outside. He'll draw a walk, and Gerke will jog down to first base. Next batter to step in for the Knights. Going to be number 11. It's Mikey Stapleton. Stapleton played in 6 ball games, 21 plate appearances, 17 at-bats. Batting .235. His on-base percentage, .381. He's got 4 hits there, all singles. Right-handed batter, working from his wind to the stretch in the set position. Here comes the pitch. Strike called. Count goes 0-1 to Stapleton. Taking second base with 2 outs in a jog. Now at second base is Lucas Gerke. Runners at second and third. Knights batting in the top of the second inning. Out of set. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch. Going to be a get by the glove there at third base. Pit stock. Going to be fielded in left field by Kalewski. He'll toss it back in. Hit the cutoff. Carter Fox, the shortstop. Coming in to score. Going to be number 10, Lucas Gerke. Ending up at second base is Mikey Stapleton. With 2 outs, getting ready to step in, 33, DJ Gilkey. DJ Gilkey on the season. He's played in 5 ball games, 16 plate appearances, 14 at-bats. Batting .357 with a .438 on-base percentage. First pitch from Winkler. Healthy cut, swing and a miss. DJ Gilkey has 5 hits on the season. 3 are singles, 2 are doubles. He has 4 RBI. Severe open stance, you'll close on the approach. You get a good vision of the baseball with an open stance. Out of set, here comes a pitch from Winkler. Foul ball back to the screen. So no balls, 2 strikes. Nolan Winkler, step back in. Peering in, looking for signals. Grant Weiss, the catcher. Out of set, here comes the 0-2 pitch to Gilkey. Breaking pitch, backdoor curveball. Stealing on the play. Right there was Mikey Stapleton, safe at third base. A nice throw by Grant Weiss. Count goes 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, just step off the back of the rubber. Nolan Winkler, you get some saliva on that right hand. Step back in. Out of the set position. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss, and he'll go down swinging. Trying to protect the zone. And there are 3 outs. And the Knights come up with 4 runs in the top of the second inning after 1.5. Knights 7. Bison 3. Bison going to bat in the bottom of the second inning. We'll also mention today's ball game is being brought to you in part by Fritz and Fisher's. Fritz in Noblesville, celebrating 43 years in business. In the heart of the Nickel Plate District, they have late model cars and trucks. Each vehicle pre-delivery inspection. They have 2 Hamilton County locations. You can go to fritzandfishers.com. You see a lot of vehicles there. They're in Fishers, Indiana, 8599 East 116th Street. You can dial them there at that dealership in Fishers, 317-842-2228. And Fritz in Noblesville, that's right along State Road 32. fritzandfishers.com. Their Noblesville phone number is 317-773-2232. And Knights getting some warm-up tosses right there on the pitcher's rubber. And Benton Central Bison going to bat here in the bottom of the second inning. They throw one down to second base. Knights going to collect the ball at the pitcher's rubber to put the ball in the glove of Vincent Talenko. So getting ready to bat for Benton Central. Here in the bottom of the second is number 8, Caden Kaluski. Kaluski playing left field for the Bison. So we'll step in. Right-handed batter. Peering in, looking at signals. Pitching from the windup, Vincent Talenko. Ground ball, second base. Going to be fielded by Hudson Gutwine. He'll throw across next door, and they get the put out with Lucas Gerke. There's 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Next batter going to step in for the Bison. Going to be the one-hitter, Lucas Snyder. Lucas Snyder, we'll mention, he's second baseman. Where's number 13? Snyder in 5 ball games, 9 plate appearances, 8 at-bats. First pitch comes in, ground ball. Fielded by the first baseman, Gerke. And there are 2 outs. Lucas Snyder, we'll mention. Lucas Snyder in those 8 at-bats, batting .375. And he's got 3 singles on the season. He's got an RBI. So we'll jog back to the dugout. He'll give knuckles to the next batter. That's number 4, Carter Fox. Fox wears number 4. He's shortstop. In 5 games, 16 plate appearances, 16 at-bats. He'll foul the first one back out of play. He's got 2 hits on the season. He's got 3 RBI. He scored 2 runs. And he's been left on base 7 times. Pretty much a straightaway stance. Here's the pitch from Talenko. Breaking pitch misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. So we'll step back in. 2-hitter, Carter Fox. Out of set. Here's the windup. Pitch comes in. You're going to take one to center field. Going to move to his left. He's going to make the catch in center field, Calvin Reisman. And the Knights are out of the inning. After two complete, Central Catholic 7, Benton Central 3. And we do thank you for tuning in. And I will also mention this game is in part being brought to you by Discount Copies. Discount Copies, conveniently located at the west edge of Noblesville, Indiana. That's 46062. Just behind Pizza Hut and next to Bowl 32, along State Road 32. At Discount Copies, they provide setup services where you can turn your artwork into things such as note cards, notepads, prints, and calendars. And it's never too early to think about personalized Christmas cards. Postcards, 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 So out of the set position, Nolan Winkler, here comes the pitch. Short off the glove. Good block once again. Grant Weiss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Knights have 2 aboard, second and third base. Stepping back in, 13. Calvin Reisman. Peering in, looking at signals. Winkler out of the set position. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch, swing and a miss. He'll go down swinging. And there's 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Next batter going to step in for the Knights, number 5, Colton Minnick. Colton Minnick going to step in. He's played in 3 ball games. This is the 4th. He's got 10 at-bats. I should say 10 plate appearances, 8 at-bats. First pitch comes in, a breaking pitch for a strike. Colton Minnick, he's got an on-base percentage of .300. He's got 1 base hit. He's got a single. He'll step back in. Right-handed batter's box. Out of a set position. Here comes the pitch. Low pitch in dirt. Another good block by Weiss. Trying to work the bottom of that zone right there. Nolan Winkler. Runners at second and third base for the Knights. Stepping back in. It's Colton Minnick. Out of a set position. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch misses high and away. Count goes 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. 1 foot in box, 1 foot out. You're looking for signals. Just a hand clap signal. Working out a stretch, now the set. Here comes the pitch. He's going to square the bunt. He's going to put a bunt down, foul ball. Right side. Count goes 2-2. So runners were on their horses. They'll jog back to respective bases. And Colton Minnick looking for signals once again. Several signals given. He'll step in. Working from the stretch. Nolan Winkler out of the set position. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. He'll take a called 3rd strike. Bottom of the zone right there, outside half. There are 2. Check that out. There's 1 out. 2 outs. Yep, 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd inning. Next batter going to step in. It's going to be the leadoff batter in today's ball game, number 9, Hudson Gutwein. Step off the back of the rubber, Nolan Winkler. Winkler going to peer in. They're going to put Hudson Gutwein on first base. Going to set up a force out at any base or home plate. So they issue Hudson Gutwein a walk without pitching to him. They can do that in Major League Baseball now. It didn't used to be that way. Stepping in, it's going to be Alex Schumer, 2-hitter for the Knights. He's the catcher for the Knights in today's ball game, working from a stretch. Now the set position. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, he'll pop one. It's going to be playable. It's going to be foul territory and a good effort by shortstop Carter Fox. Fox had a beat on it, put the glove up, just couldn't get to it. That was a difficult over-the-shoulder catch. So the count goes 0-1 to Schumer. He'll get the ball and the bat handed to him by catcher Grant Weiss, IHSAA. They smile when they see that. Sportsmanship, it's all good. No balls, 1 strike. Out of the set, here comes the pitch. Pitch comes in above the zone, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners at first, second, and third for the Knights. 2 outs. Top of the 3rd, here comes the pitch. Outside of ball. 2-1 count. Nolan Winkler, pretty good sized young man. We look at him here. He's just a sophomore. Tell you what, he's got a lot of upside. Out of the set, here comes the pitch. Inside of ball. Count goes 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Hand clap signal. He'll step back in. 3-1 count. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of the set, here comes the pitch. Ground ball. Back to the mound and a good glove by Nolan Winkler. And Winkler throws over to first base. Kadrick Tyson gets the put out, and the Knights leave 3 on base. So the Bison going to bat here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. After 2.5, Knights 7, Bison 3. And we do thank you for tuning in, and we'll mention today's ball game is also in part being brought to you by Scott G. Scott G, when time is good, when you share, you should. Share and share alike. Support Indiana middle school and high school athletics. Baseball in Indiana is good. We'll also mention today's ball game is in part being brought to you by Lisa Stokes Bear. Lisa Stokes Bear, Century 21. Real estate IQ that will work for the benefit of you. Lisa specializes in residential and corporate relocations. She has a vast knowledge with more than 25 years of experience, question answering experience. Let Lisa look, let Lisa list. Each home is precious. Lisa Stokes Bear, Century 21, Sheets Company. Real estate agent, real estate broker. To contact Lisa Stokes Bear by phone or by text message, you can dial 317-513-4086. Again, her number is 317-513-4086. So putting the gear on, coming out a bit late. He was the last batter in the lineup to bat for the Knights in the top of the 3rd inning. Alex Schumer out to do the catching once again for Talenko. And they'll practice right there. They get warmed up. I think I mentioned this last night. Gamebridge Fieldhouse starting up on Saturday, 1 o'clock, game 1 of the playoffs. And it's going to be the Milwaukee Bucks at Gamebridge. And I will mention that Milwaukee Bucks going to show up Saturday, and they've won 3 out of the 4 games against the Pacers this year. And they've got an 8-game win streak intact. Pacers are ready to go. They are happening, stepping in. First batter here in the bottom of the 3rd. Outside of ball. So in the batter's box, 3-hitter, number 5, Spencer Fluke. Center fielder got himself aboard with a base hit in the 1st inning. He'll take a healthy cut, swing and a miss. Count goes 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Left-handed batter. Closed stance. Pitching from the windup. Here comes the wind and the pitch from Talenko. Ground ball. Going to bounce off the pitcher's mound. Going to be picked up at second base by Gutwein. He'll throw to first base, get the put out with Lucas Gerke. There's 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Next batter going to step in for Benton Central. Going to be number 12, Grant Weiss. Grant Weiss on this early season. He's played in 5 ball games, all 5, 15 plate appearances, 12 at-bats. He got a 267 on-base percentage. Working from the windup. First pitch to Weiss. Breaking pitch misses outside. Ball's going to get by Schumer. It's going to be laterally. Actually, might have got him on the leg. Home plate umpire going to track it down. Everybody's good. So going to step back in. Number 12, Grant Weiss. Working from the windup. Peering over the glove, looking at signals. Here's the wind and the pitch. Back up the middle. Going to be a base hit. Line drive stroke. Going to go right of second base. Gutwein didn't have a play. So Grant Weiss gets aboard. Grant Weiss picks up his 3rd hit on this young season. He's got a single and check that. He's got 2 singles and a double. Stepping into bat, we're going to see the 5-hitter, number 17, Nolan Winkler. Winkler is the pitcher for Benton Central. Right-handed batter, he'll step in. Working from the stretch, now the set position. Here's the pitch. Tries to check his swing, and the ball's going to get off of the body there of Schumer. He's okay. I'm not sure they're going to call it a strike. They didn't ask, but I think it was. And that's what they're calling here on the scoreboard. This guy's doing a heck of a job. They call that a ball? Oh, foul ball. Foul ball, my ear. It was off the bat. So there's another one off the bat. No, ball comes in and checks his swing again. And the count goes 1-1. Nolan Winkler, been to the plate 14 times, 12 official at-bats. He's got 2 hits. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch, swing and a miss. Count goes 1-2. Nolan Winkler on the season. He's got 1 RBI. He's got 1 base on balls. He's been left on base 6 times. Appearing in signals, out of set position. Talenko, here's the pitch. Outside a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Knights in front, 7-3. Pitching from the stretch. Appearing in, looking at signals. Vincent Talenko out of the set. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch. Going to let it go by. It's going to be strike 3. So there's stepping in. Going to bat. There's 2 outs. It's going to be the 6th hitter, number 23, Kadrick Tyson. Kadrick Tyson playing first base in today's ball game. He's played in all 5 games, 14 plate appearances, 14 at-bats. He's batting .214, but that's 2 points better than I did when I was a senior. Pitch comes in, breaking pitch for a strike. Kadrick Tyson has 3 hits on the season. He's got 2 singles and 1 double. He's got an RBI. He's been left on base 4 times. Runner at first base is Fluke. Pitch comes in, strike called. Bottom of the kneecaps. Kadrick Tyson, 6'5", pretty good sized young man. Bit of an open stance. Peering in, looking at signals. Vincent Talenko, out of the set position. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch, finishes outside for a ball. Count goes 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Grant Weiss doing the base running for himself. Out of the set, here comes the pitch. He's going to take it to right field. It's going to have some air underneath it. It's going to be caught there in right field by Colton Minnick. And the Bison are out of the inning. Bison in the bottom of the 3rd inning come up with no runs. They leave 1 on base. And they'll play defensively in the top of the 4th. After 3 complete. Knights 7, Bison 3. And we'll also mention today's ball game is in part being brought to you by Noblesville Trophies. Noblesville Trophies, you can shop them online at noblesvilletrophies.com or stop in, if only to browse around. 1740 South 10th Street, Noblesville, Indiana. Trophies, awards, plaques, and more. Fast turnaround, prices are low. So low you may want to be a repeat customer. Noblesville Trophies, 1740 South 10th Street, Noblesville, Indiana. That's 46060. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can reach them by phone at 317-773-7391. Again, that's 317-773-7391. It's online. It's noblesvilletrophies.com. So they have a pitching change for Benton Central here in the top of the 4th inning. On the pitcher's rubber, it's going to be Cameron Ryder. He wears number 3. Cameron Ryder saw action last night as a pitcher. He's an infielder and a right-handed pitcher. And he's going to take some warm-ups right now with Grant Weiss. Grant Weiss put his gear on. He's back behind home plate. So they're throwing the ball around the infield, working it around right now. And last night, I didn't get updated stats for today's ball game, but Grant Weiss, he's doing the catching, but number 3 on the pitcher's rubber is Cameron Ryder. And we'll look over here, Cameron Ryder. Looking for his stats here. I can't find him right off the bat here. Several pieces of paper. But they're going to throw one down to second base from the right hand of Grant Weiss. So they'll throw it around the infield. They'll put it back in the glove of Ryder. And Ryder going to come in middle relief for the Bison. Stepping into bat for Central Catholic, number 10, Lucas Gerke. Luke Gerke batting 222 at 300 on base percentage. First pitch from Ryder, fastball, outside of ball. So number 3, Cameron Ryder, he's got some velocity. Velocity is good. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Try a breaking pitch. It'll finish low for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Stepping back in, left-handed batter, Lucas Gerke. Peering over the glove. We're working from the windup, 1 foot on, 1 foot off. Here's the pitch. He'll swing away. He'll take it out of play, left side. Count goes 2-1. Cameron Ryder using the windup technique with nobody on. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Outside of ball high. Count goes 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. He'll step back on the rubber. He'll peer in, look at signals from Grant Weiss. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Pitch is outside, ball 4. Jogging to first base is number 10, Lucas Gerke. Next batter in the lineup for the night is going to be number 11, Mikey Stapleton. Stapleton, right-handed batter, going to step in. Batting 235 with a 381 on-base percentage. Runner at first base, Lucas Gerke. Nobody out, top of the 4th. Stepping back off the rubber, going to fake a throw there to first base. Just step back in. Out of the set, first pitch. Stapleton wanted to bunt, pulled the bat back, ball 1. So 1 foot in the box, 1 foot out. He looked third base, Coach Bourdonnais gets signals. Stepping back in, peering in, out of the stretch. He'll step off the back. The sun's shining pretty good. That B position umpire is shielding his eyes as he is not wearing sunglasses. Pitch comes in, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Stepping back in, Mikey Stapleton. Peering in, out of the stretch. Looks at first base. Out of the set position. Cameron Ryder. Here comes the pitch. Ball inside. Count goes 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes. He'll step back in. Ryder going to peer in, look at signals. Out of the set. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. Pitch comes in tight. Ball 4. So he'll jog down to first base. And Knight's going to have 2 on base. First and second base. And Coach Hamill going to walk out. Talk with his infield at the pitcher's mound. And we do thank you for tuning in. And we'll mention this game is in part being brought to you by Honey Creek Resort. Honey Creek Resort, what a beautiful place to be. Plan your vacation or maybe a weekend getaway. Honey Creek Resort with 840 acres of fantastic nature, fun, and recreation adventures are only a 1 day's drive away. Honey Creek Resort in southern Iowa, where fellow Hoosiers Beth and Terry Henderson have an amazing lodge and cabins with fabulous fishing, boating, golfing, horse carriages, and much more. Truly amazing adventures and hospitality await you at honeycreekresort.com. Make your trip and let your group, business, or family getaway reservations make them today. You can reach them by phone at 641-724-1450. Again, that's 641-724-1450. So on the pitcher's rubber, we're going to see Tadrick Tyson. Tadrick Tyson going to move over from first base. Going to get some warm-up tosses. Knights are going to have 2 aboard, first and second, when we resume. Nobody out, top of the 4th inning. Knights batting. 7-3 contest. Knights in front. So working right there on the pitcher's rubber. As mentioned, don't have updated stats from last night's pitching, but I'm entering last night's ball game. We'll mention 23. That's Caden. Should say right there, working right there in the pitcher's rubber. 23, Kadrick Tyson. Kadrick Tyson entering last night's ball game had 7 1/3 innings. He pitched last night. This is appearance number 4 on the season. And Kadrick Tyson entering last night's ball game had faced 32 batters, and that's 27 official at bats. He was at 126 pitches entering last night's game. He did not start. He came in second relief, might have been first relief last night. They're going to brief him at the pitcher's rubber with the infield umpire, let him know what the situation is. 2 guys aboard, nobody out. And stepping into bat with no count is number 33, DJ Gilkey. But first, Grant Weiss going to jog out. Going to talk with Kadrick Tyson. So they're going to maybe go over some signals right there. So Tyson is now the pitcher for the Bison. So they're getting ready to step in. Ball's made live. Gilkey, the batter, left-handed batter for the Knights. Runner at second base. Runner at first base. Going to put a bunt down. Going to go left side. Going to be fielded by Tyson. He'll throw across the diamond. He'll go to first base and get the put out right there at first base. And moving over to first base is Nolan Winkler. So they trade places almost. Cameron Ryder was the pitcher in between Winkler and Tyson. So working from the stretch, there's 1 out. They move the runners with the bunt attempt, getting the put out. There at first base was Gilkey. Out of the set, here's the pitch. Outside edge, strike called. Jackson Kane, 6-hitter. Where's number 3 doing the batting for the Knights? He'll step back in. Runners at second and third base with 1 out. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Here comes the pitch. Foul ball back to the screen. Count goes 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jackson Kane. Out of the box. He'll adjust those batting gloves. He'll step back in. Tap the plate far and near. Working from the stretch. Now the set. Here comes the pitch. Outside the ball. Another good block on the short hop by Grant Weiss. Grant Weiss, the catcher for the Bison. Coach Hamel tells me he's pretty much the veteran on this team. So they've got some young guys, took some positions from some guys that graduated. They're walking up the ladder. Pitch comes in. They're going to call him out on strikes. And he'll walk back to the dugout. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Stepping in at the plate. Going to be the 7-hitter, 41, Brennan Van Kirk. Working out a stretch. Now the set. Here comes the pitch. Pitch comes in just above the zone. Ball 1. Brennan Van Kirk, 6 games, 18 plate appearances, 16 at-bats. He's batting an even .500 with 8 hits. They're all singles. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch misses away. Ball 2. Kadrick Tyson has a good breaking ball. That's probably 16, 18 inches on the break. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball. Be fielded at shortstop. Backhands at Carter Fox. The throw across the diamond is going to bring him off the bag. That's Nolan Winkler. And coming in to score for the Knights. Going to be 2 runs in. It's going to be Lucas Gerke and Mikey Stapleton. So stepping back in, going to step in again, Calvin Reisman, 8-hitter for the Knights. Runner aboard at first base. Probably going to be a reached on air. Is Brennan Van Kirk. First pitch comes in outside of ball. Another short hop block by Grant Weiss. 1 ball, no strikes. Holding him on there at first base is Nolan Winkler. Out of the set, Pickoff move, first base, off the glove. Winkler slowed it down. It was in the dirt. Winkler basically saved an error on the throw from Tyson getting the glove on that baseball. So 1 ball, no strikes. Step back in the rubber. Kadrick Tyson. Now the set, here's the pitch. Inside a ball. Nolan Winkler, he gets a good position there at first base, holding on the runner. He got both feet on the chalk. He's in fair territory. Here comes the pitch. Gonna be a ground ball, base hit between shortstop and third base. And Reisman gets himself aboard with 2 outs. Runners at first and second for the Knights. Next batter going to step in for the Knights. Going to be number 30, Gus Sandberg. Gus Sandberg going to bat in place of 9-hitter Colton Minnick. Gus Sandberg on the season. He's played in all 5 ball games. Take that back. He's played in 5 of 6 ball games. 5 plate appearances, 4 at-bats. He's got an on-base percentage of .200. And he's been walked 1 time. Out of the set, first pitch. Outside breaking pitch for ball 1. Gus Sandberg, he struck out 1 time, and it was looking. He steps back in. 1 ball, no strikes. Out of the set position. Here's the pitch. They're going to call balk. They're going to get him for a quick pitch. They're going to say he didn't set sufficiently in the set position, called a quick pitch. In the book, the word used is discernible. So no discernible pause. They move the runners up 90 feet. So runners at second and third with 2 out. Here comes the pitch. High above the zone. Ball 2. So that balk, it does not allow a pitch. The pitch wouldn't happen, but it's base runners moving up 90 feet. Pitch comes in, outside edge, strike called. Count goes 2-1. But if nobody's on base and the pitcher balks, then it is a ball on the batter. Here comes the pitch. Swung on. He'll take it right side. It's going to be a foul ball. Giving it a good look. It stays in play. Couldn't get to it. Miles Cooley, the right fielder for the Bison. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 aboard for the Knights, second and third base. And Kadrick Tyson going to elect to pitch from the windup. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch. Back up the middle, going to be a base hit. Right back up the middle on the ground, going to be an RBI single off the bat of Gus Sandberg. Coming in to score, number 13, Calvin Reisman. Next batter in the lineup for the Knights is going to be number 9, Hudson Gutwein. Runner at first base, Gus Sandberg, 2 out. Here in the top of the 4th inning. Peering in, looking at signals. Kadrick Tyson. He wears number 23. Out of the set. Here's the pitch. Strike called, outside edge. Knee high. Count goes 0-1. Peering in, again, looking at signals. Kadrick Tyson. Looks at first base out of the stretch. Now the set, here comes the pitch. You're going to pop one right side. You're going to make its way out to right field. Coming in to make the catch. It's going to drop in. Long way to run for Miles Cooley. And ending up at second base for the Knights. Right there. Runners at second and third base. They're going to take off that apparatus. Jog back out. And Hudson Gutwein. They're probably going to give him credit for a double. That ball dropped in. It was highborn, skyborn, and drops in. By that time, he was on his way to second base. So runners at second and third base. Stepping in for the Knights, going to be number 12, Alex Schumer. Left-handed batter. Pitching from the windup, Kadrick Tyson. Here comes the pitch. Outside a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Schumer, left-handed batter, batting in the top of the fourth. Kadrick Tyson pitching from the windup. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Pitch comes in just above the zone. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Straight up stance, standing on the rubber, both feet. Here comes the wind and the pitch from Tyson. Strike outside edge, knee high. Count goes 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Just above the zone, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. Schumer going to step back in. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Just above the zone, Schumer going to draw a 5-pitch walk. So he'll jog to first base. Next batter in the lineup for the Knights going to be number 10, Lucas Gerke. Runners at first, second, and third base, working from the windup, peering in, looking at signals. Stepping in, Lucas Gerke. Pitch now the windup. Here's the pitch from Tyson. Outside edge, strike call. No balls, 1 strike. He'll peer in, look at signals. Out of the wide, here comes the 0-1 pitch. Going to drive one to the outfield. It's going to go to right field. It's going to drop in right there in the gap, picked up by the right fielder, Miles Cooley. And it's going to be a base hit. And the 2 RBI single off the bat right there of Gerke. And Knights will score 2. So, back to the pitcher's rubber. Kadrick Tyson. Next batter in the lineup for the Knights, number 11, Mikey Stapleton. 2 outs, runner at first base, out of the set position. Here comes the pitch. Going to pop one up because they're going to be playable. First baseman Nolan Winkler gives it a look. It goes out of play. So they're going to hand the ball back to Grant Weiss. They'll toss it to Kadrick Tyson. 0-1 count on the batter. The batter's box, number 11, Mikey Stapleton. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of the stretch, now the set. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch finishes away. 1 ball, 1 strike. So we peer in, look at signals out of the stretch. Kadrick Tyson out of the set. Here's the pitch. Be a ground ball. Foul ball left of third base. Right there was Tanner Pitstock. Count goes 1-1. So stepping back in, Mikey Stapleton. Working from the stretch, now the set. Here comes the pitch. Short off the glove. Kept it right there around him. Grant Weiss, catcher for the Bison. Grant Weiss, senior class member. Pretty much a captain, almost, if they had captains. Working from the stretch, now the set position. Tyson, 2-2 pitch. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball. Going to be wide of third base. Going to get through the hole right there between short and third base. Base hit for Mikey Stapleton. Runners at first and second base. So Stapleton at first base. Gerke at second base. Stepping into bat. It's going to be number 33, DJ Gilkey. Going to be a timeout on the diamond. Coach Hamill going to walk out. Going to talk with his infield. And we'll also mention this game is in part being brought to you by Camino and Company. Camino and Company, they're in downtown Noblesville, Indiana. That's Camino and Company. They are a mobile flower shop brought to you by local flower farmers and providers, small business partners, and the Camino and Company founders. Their mascot is a 1984 El Camino SS. That El Camino is owned by V.E. Witham. He is the grandpa of Carly Witham Elbrat. Carly Witham, she is the owner of Camino and Company. The goal at Camino and Company is to please each customer from their concept to the Camino and Company completion. You can explore their website at camino-and-company.com. That's camino-and-company.com. They are now booking 2025 brides. That's Camino and Company in Noblesville. So they're going to insert a new pitcher. They're going to wind him up right now. They're getting some warm-up tosses. And right there on the pitcher's rubber now is number 4, Carter Fox. Carter Fox, we'll mention, he's listed as an infielder and a right-handed pitcher. Carter Fox, we'll mention, he's getting another opportunity. This is his second appearance this season. He's given up just 2 hits. He's walked 1 batter. He has struck out 1. And Carter Fox going to take up right here where he left off. And he's going to get some warm-up tosses right there. He's working from a stretch right now, getting warmed up with catcher Grant Weiss. And I will also mention, this game is in part being brought to you by Scott G. Scott G, when time is good, when you share, you should. Share and share alike. Support Indiana middle school and high school athletics. So they're going to ask the infield to take their respective positions. The outfield, they were having a convention. They're going to spread out now and get some final warm-up tosses. There is number 4, Carter Fox. He's a member of the junior class. He's pitching from a stretch, getting his final tosses. Infield umpire is going to brief him on the situation on the diamond. And that would be 2 outs, runners at first and second base. And I'm getting ready to bat. Again is number 33, DJ Gilkey. DJ Gilkey going to step in, batting .357 with a .438 on-base percentage. He got 5 hits, 3 singles, 2 doubles. Out of the set, first pitch from Fox. You're going to drive one skyward. It's going to be a foul ball. Giving it a look is catcher Grant Weiss, and he runs out of room. So a foul ball out of play. Count goes 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. Home plate umpire going to pick up the mask for Grant Weiss. Why not? Grant Weiss doing a good job protecting the umpire along with Mr. Alex Schumer. Stepping back in, 0-1 count, 2 outs. DJ Gilkey batting. Carter Fox checks second. Here's the pitch. He's going to drive one the other way. It's going to be playable. It's behind home plate. And Grant Weiss runs out of real estate again. No balls, 2 strikes. So no balls, 2 strikes. 2 out. Top of the 4th inning. Left-handed batter's box. Peering in, looking at signals. Carter Fox in the rubber now. He'll step off the back. He'll reset. He won the signals again. He's getting them right now. Carter Fox, right-handed pitcher. Out of the set, here's the pitch. Pitch comes in high for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 out. Runners at first and second for the Knights. Out of the set position. Check second. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch finishes away. Count goes 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Peering in, looking at signals. Carter Fox out of the set. Check second. Here's the pitch. You're going to pop one up skyward. It's going to go out of play right side. Getting a lot of elevation on these foul balls. DJ Gilkey. Carter Fox, new baseball in his hand. He'll step in the rubber, peer in, look at signals from Grant Weiss. Out of the set, he'll check second base. Check again. Here's the pitch. You're going to take one left side. Could be in play. It will end up in play, but difficult play to make. Third baseman couldn't make the play. And I think we have a different third baseman now than Tanner Pitstock started the ball game. We might have Spencer Fluke, number 5, there at third base. So stepping back in, 2-2 count. Alice said, here comes the pitch. Outside of ball. 3-2 count. DJ Gilkey, left-handed batter. Right-handed pitcher. Carter Fox. Alvis set. Here comes the 3-2. You're going to pop one up. It's going to be playable. High fly ball. Will be called for by the shortstop. And that's Kadrick Tyson. Makes the play. So the Knights will set down. They'll come to the defensive mode. And the Benton Central Bison going to bat in the bottom of the 4th. After 3.5, Knights 14, Bison 3. The Bison going to bat here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. So the Knights going to go with a different pitcher. We're going to see number 28, Tatum Adriano. Tatum Adriano, we'll mention on the season. Tatum Adriano in three innings. We'll mention he's played in one ball game. This is appearance, double check there. But we'll mention Adriano has faced 10 batters, thrown 45 pitches. And Adriano has given up 1 base on balls. He struck out 5, and he has struck out 2 of them looking. So he's on the pitcher's rubber now, practicing, getting warmed up from the windup. And we'll mention again, this game is in parts being brought to you by McCormick's Printing. Before we dive back into action, we want to spotlight a business that's been printing success in our community for 50 incredible years. McCormick Printing Impressions. From business cards to banners, T-shirts to office supplies, MPI is your local full-service print shop, delivering quality, great service, and creativity in every project. Family-owned and operated for 2 generations, MPI knows that your first impression matters, so they make sure it's a good one. Next time you need something printed with perfection, turn to MPI. Because at McCormick Printing Impressions, they don't just print, they help you make your best impression. So the Knights put the ball in the glove right there of Adriano. Tyson, should say Tatum Adriano. Next batter to step in for the Bison, going to be number 2, Tanner Pitstock. Tanner Pitstock, double check there. So Tanner going to step in. It's Tanner Pitstick Meyer. Her name was correct all last night. But Pitstick, right-handed batter, steps in. First pitch from Adriano. He's going to drive one. Right side, it's going to be a foul ball. Giving it a look right there at first base. Going to make the catch, Jonah. Jonah Gerke makes the catch. The ball would have landed in the dugout. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. So next batter going to step in. It's going to be number 15, Miles Cooley. Miles Cooley, the right fielder. He'll step into bat, right-handed batter. Miles Cooley's played in 5 ball games. He scored 3 runs, getting an opportunity to play in the field today. Here comes the pitch. Pitch comes in low and outside, ball 1. So Adriano pitching for the Knights, stepping back in. 8-hitter, 15, Miles Cooley. Working from a windup, here's the pitch. Going to be off the glove of Schumer. 2 balls, no strikes. So Cooley steps back in, right-handed batter's box. Right-handed pitcher, Tatum Adriano. Breaking pitch finishes above the zone for a ball. Count goes 3-0. Working from the windup. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Swung on, he'll take one right side. Foul ball out of play. 3 balls, 1 strike. Had the green light. Miles Cooley. Peering in, looking at signals. Adriano. Here comes the windup. Long Pierre. Here comes the wind in the pitch to Cooley. You're going to pop one foul straight back out of play. Count goes 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Step back in. Peering in, looking at signals. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Breaking pitch finishes low, and that will be ball 3. So the count is 3-2. So working from the windup. Cooley in the box. Here comes the 3-2. Inside and tight, ball 4. So Miles Cooley going to jog down to first base. So with 1 out, stepping in for the Bison is number 8, Caden Kaluski. Caden Kaluski on a season. He's played in all 5 games entering today's ball game. 8 plate appearances, 6 at-bats. He's got 1 hit. He's been hit by pitch twice. He's been left on base once. Alba set for Adriano. Might have got away with a balk there. From the set position, Adriano nods his head to okay the pitch call. Evidently from the catcher, Schumer. So right-handed batter, Caden Kaluski. Out of set, here's the pitch. So throw to second base goes beyond second baseman Hudson Gutwein, sliding in safe. At second base is Miles Cooley. So bottom of the 4th inning. 9-hitter, number 8, Caden Kaluski. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of the set, checks second base. Long check, here's the pitch. They're going to say hit by pitch. That ball might have been off the knob of the bat. They're going to check. That had a big ricochet. But they're going to send him to first base with a hit by pitch. So don't know if he got his fingers, but there was no swing. So he's at first base now, Caden Kaluski. At second base, Miles Cooley. Next batter in the lineup, number 13, is the 1-hitter, Lucas Snyder. He plays second base for the Bison. Working from a stretch, long stretch, out of set. First pitch to Snyder. Outside edge, strike call. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th inning. Peering in, looking at signals. Tatum Adriano out of a set position. He'll check second base. Here comes the pitch. Going to drive it to the left center field. They're going to have to make a play on it. The left fielder moves over and makes the catch. Brendan Van Kirk. So Van Kirk retires the batter. That was Caden Kaluski. At runners at first and second base for the Bison. There are 2 out. Bottom of the 4th inning, stepping into bat. 2-hitter, Carter Fox. Carter Fox going to step in. He's got 2 hits on the season. He's got 3 RBI. Out of set position, Adriano checks second base. Timeout called by Carter Fox. That's a long time to study. If you got to stare at a pitcher more than 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, timeout granted. Out of set position, Adriano. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch in there for a strike. Right below the kneecaps. Count goes 0-1. Peering in, looking at signals. Tatum Adriano out of the set. He'll check second base. Here comes the pitch. No, going to be a pickoff move. Pirouette. He'll go clockwise, step off the back of the rubber, and not make a throw. So it'll be timeout. Actually, shortstop, Mikey Stapleton. Enjoy a conversation right there. Short chat with Adriano, and he'll go back into shortstop position. So number 4, Carter Fox doing the batting, right-handed batter for the Bison. No balls, 1 strike. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of a set position, Adriano. Checks second base. Here's the pitch. Ground ball back up the middle. Going to get off the leg of Adriano. Going to tear him into shallow left field. Is out behind shortstop, and coming in to score for the Bison is number 15, Miles Cooley. So the Bison have 2 aboard with 2 out. So base hit, RBI off the bat of Carter Fox. So next batter in the lineup for the Bison, it's going to be number 5, Spencer Fluke. They call him Fluke. I guess that's it. Is it Fluke? Spencer Fluke. I asked that question last night. I got the different answer. But we call him Fluke now, from now on. He is the 3-hitter. He's center fielder. Left-handed batter. Peering in, looking at signals. Tatum Adriano, runners at first and second base. Out of set, he'll check second base. Here's a pitch. He's going to foul one, left side, out of play. So Spencer Fluke, he started the game last night as the pitcher. I made the mistake. I apologize. Mr. Fluke, called him Fluke for the duration of the game. I get him notified right here by the public address, and the scoreboard keeper, he's a teammate. He says it's Fluke. Breaking pitch outside edge called strike. No balls, 2 strikes to Spencer Fluke. Spencer Fluke wears number 5. Spencer Fluke is a junior class member. Bats third. Working from a stretch, now the set position for Adriano. Long look at second. Here's the pitch. Going to be a ground ball. Going to be trying to be fielded there by Adriano, and Adriano couldn't get it, but he knocks the ball closer to Jonah Gerke, and Jonah Gerke makes a tag on Fluke before he gets to first base. So 1 run in here in the bottom of the 4th inning for the Bison. At the end of 4, Knights 14, Bison 4. And we also thank you for tuning in. And we'll mention this game is in part being brought to you by Noblesville Trophies. You can shop them online at noblesvilletrophies.com or stop in if only to browse around. 1740 South 10th Street, Noblesville, Indiana. Trophies, awards, plaques, and more. Fast turnaround, prices are low. They're so low you may want to be a repeat customer. Noblesville Trophies, 1740 South 10th Street, Noblesville, Indiana, 46060. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can reach them by phone at 317-773-7391. Again, that number is 317-773-7391, or online, noblesvilletrophies.com. So back out on the pitcher's rubber is Carter Fox. Carter Fox, in the bottom of the 4th, got himself aboard with a base hit, an RBI. And we'll mention Carter Fox working here in the top of the 5th inning. And ball game happening. We'll also mention, just a reminder, the Indianapolis Indians, they're in their 123rd season. They play 150 regular season games, ball games, baseball that is. 75 of those games are at home. This Sunday on Mother's Day, April 20th, 1:35 p.m., the Toledo Mud Hens will be at Victory Field to take on the Indianapolis Indians. They got a 6-game homestand, and those 6 games, consecutive days, beginning last night with Toledo. And I'm set to step in for the Knights here in the top of the 5th inning. It's going to be number 3, Jackson Kane. So Carter Fox going to adjust the bill of his cap. He'll step in. He's going to pitch from the stretch, primarily thought of as a relief pitcher. First pitch, pretty good velocity, finishes above the zone, ball 1. Popping the glove right there. Grant Weiss, the catcher. Pitching from the stretch, now out of set. Right-handed batter, Jackson Kane. Pitch comes in, outside edge, strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Step back in, tap the plate. Working from the stretch, now the set. Here comes the pitch. Full swing, going to foul one back to the screen. Count goes 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Top of the 5th inning, Knights batting. Working out a stretch. Now the set. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Outside a ball. Just misses. Count goes 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Peering in, looking at signals. That sun shining in. A second baseman having difficulty. And the pitcher. Pitch comes in high and tight for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But we know the sun, one of our biggest assets as human beings. Here comes a pitch. Breaking pitch in there for a strike. Jackson got locked up. Let it go by. He'll go down looking. There's 1 out here in the 5th inning. 14-4 contest. Knights batting in the top of the 5th. Stepping to the bat for the Knights. Number 41, Brennan Van Kirk. Left fielder. Working out a stretch. Now the set. Here's the pitch. Pitch comes in. Curveball. Got the outside edge. Strike called. Step back in. Brennan Van Kirk. Left fielder. Here's the pitch. He'll take a ground ball. Be fielded at third base. You'll pick it up off the surface. Strong arm to first base. Just behind Van Kirk. Reaching base safely. At third base is Tanner Pitstock. I never did it again. Pitstick. And I tell you what, that's an abnormal name. You don't hear that every day. But I tell you what, it is original, and so is he. So stepping into bat, going to be number 13, Calvin Reisman. Out of set position. Here comes a pitch. Pitch comes in outside a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Runner at first base for the Knights is Brennan Van Kirk. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Out of set, here's the pitch. Going to pop one up on the infield. Called for by the second baseman. And there are 2 outs. And that play made there at second base by number 9, Colin Miller. Colin Miller, an infielder and a right-handed pitcher. With 2 outs, set to bat here in the top of the 5th inning is number 5, Colton Minnick. Colton Minnick, right-handed batter. Out of the set, here comes the pitch. Short off the glove, another good block by Grant Weiss. Colton Minnick, he's played in 3 games. This is number 4. Entering the ball game, 10 plate appearances, 8 official at-bats. Pitch comes in, healthy cut, swing and a miss. They'll throw to second base. And a nice throw, but safe at second base for the Knights is Van Kirk. So runner in scoring position for Colton Minnick. Minnick has 1 hit on the season. He's got 1 RBI. Working out a stretch. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of the set position, he'll check second. Here comes the 1-1. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Carter Fox looks at second base, now steps back in. Peers in, looks at signals. Out of the set, here comes the 2-1 pitch. Above the zone, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. 2 out. Knights batting in the top of the 5th inning. Looks at second base. In the rubber. Now, peers in, looks at signals. Out of the set, here's the 3-1. Inside, ball 4. So Colton Minnick will jog to first base. Colton Minnick picks up base on balls. Number 3 on the season. Stepping in, going to be number 9, Hudson Gutwein. Gutwein taps the play. Runners at first and second base. Peering in, looking at signals out of stretch. Carter Fox. Here comes a pitch. High for ball 1. Carter Fox, I tell you what, he can bring it. He's popping the glove. I tell you what, you don't have to be big to be a pitcher. Out of a set position, he'll check second. Here comes the pitch. Going to pop one up. Is it going to be playable? Third baseman giving it a look. That's pit stick. And the ball goes out of play. It's a bleacher. Out of play left side. Count goes 0-1 to Gutwein. Runners back to first and second base. Timeout on the diamond for just a moment. I'm not going to call time. Coach Hamill jogs out, picks up the baseball in foul territory. Steps back in, Hudson Gutwein. Peering in, looking at signals. Out of the stretch, now the set. Here comes the pitch. Good block again on that breaking pitch. Short hops the glove of Grant Weiss. So stepping back in. Right-handed batter playing second base for the Knights. Hudson Gutwein. Here comes the pitch. You're going to take a full cut and foul it back to the screen just underneath the baseball. Count goes 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 aboard for the Knights. Top of the 5th inning. Working out a stretch, now the set. Here comes the pitch. The short off the glove, Grant Weiss, another good block. Count goes 3-2. So we'll step back in, Gutwein. Gutwein, the one hitter for the Knights. Out of set, here's the pitch. You're going to pop one up. It is playable skyward. It's a fly ball, major league fly ball. It's going to be caught in left field for the 3rd out. So the Knights leave 2 aboard, come up with no runs. And the Knights going to play defensively in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the Bison going to come to the plate. And I think out there in left field, number 8, Caden Kaluski. Kaluski makes the out there on the fly ball to left from Gutwein. So we do thank you for tuning in. We'll mention tonight's ball game is being brought to you in part by AGM Auto. AGM Auto LLC. At AGM Auto, you'll not only be treated with pure professionalism, you'll appreciate their state-of-the-art diagnostics and their up-to-date status of each of the AGM technicians. And AGM doesn't only work under the hood. AGM works toward the recovery and restoration of the many now beautiful cars which have become showroom treasures, mechanically and cosmetically. Your car could be next. To contact AGM Auto, you can dial them at 317-984-5283. Again, 317-984-5283. AGM Auto, Hamilton County, 1 mile west of Arcadia. You can reach them on Facebook at AGM Auto LLC. And we'll also mention Adriano still back out on the pitcher's rubber. And I'm back behind home plate. Got his gear on. That's number 12, Alex Schumer. And I should mention 2010 was the previous sectional that Benton Central had won. 2010, they got the sectional again last year, 2024. And so what, that's a little bit of a stretch, but they're right there. 2024 sectional, Benton Central Bison. So they're going to clean the dish off right there. And they got the ball. They're going to put it in the glove of Tatum Adriano. And they're going to step into bat. It's going to be the 4-hitter, number 12, Grant Weiss. Grant Weiss in 5 games, 15 at-bats, 12 official at-bats. He got an on-base at 267. He's got a double and a single. And he's got 2 RBI. Here comes the pitch from Adriano. Healthy cut, swing and a miss. We'll also mention Grant Weiss. 2 base on balls in 5 ball games. He's been left on base 6 times. So we'll step back in. Right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher, Adriano. Breaking pitch, foul ball. It's going to dribble right there around home plate. So it kind of reminds you of a Rob dribble right there. Dibble, there we go. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Breaking pitch, finishes low. Good block by Schumer. Rob Dibble, he could bring it for the Reds. He was a late relief pitcher. He was up there around the 100 mile per hour. Here comes the pitch. Breaking pitch in the dirt again. Good block by Schumer. So we'll step back in. Grant Weiss. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Healthy cut. Going to be drop third strike. Going to pop out of the glove of Schumer. Just step to the outside where the ball landed, and he'll throw a strike to first base to Jonah Gerke. There's one out here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Next batter going to step in for the Bison, going to be number 17, Nolan Winkler. Nolan Winkler in 5 ball games, 14 plate appearances, 12 at-bats. He's got 2 singles. He's got 1 RBI. He's been walked 1 time. He's been left on base 6 times. Here comes the pitch. You're going to drive one out of play right side. Right now, hands through the zone. Count goes 0-1 to Winkler. Right-handed batter, he'll step back in. Working from the windup, Tatum Adriano. Long pier, 2 feet on the rubber. Here comes the windup and the pitch. Outside of ball. Adriano popping the glove. Adriano with some good velocity himself. Count goes 1-1. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Breaking pitch finishes above the zone, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2 feet on the rubber, peering in, looking at signals from Alex Schumer. Here comes the pitch to Winkler. He's going to pop one up. Going to be on the infield. Going to be a foul territory. Going to be played upon. Third baseman going to make the catch. And DJ Gilkey records the out. 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Next batter for the Bison going to be number 23, Kadrick Tyson. Kadrick Tyson played first base, did some pitching. Last time we knew he was a shortstop. A little bit of an open stance, right-handed batter. Here comes the wind and the pitch from Adriano. Pitch comes in, bottom of the kneecaps, outside half, strike called. Step back in, working from the windup. Tatum Adriano will step off the back of the rubber with that opposite start foot. He'll step back on. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Healthy cut, swing and a miss. Count goes 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Peering in, looking at signals. Here comes the wind and the pitch. Let me drop third strike again. Outside the plate right there. From the outside, he'll throw to first base. And they'll record the out. And that's going to complete today's ball game. Final score today. Central Catholic Knights 14. Benton Central Bison 4. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll mention Knights, we're going to be off the rest of the week. Yeah. Who we got? Not too sure. Bison going to play again on Friday. So they're going to have a day off tomorrow. And I appreciate the hospitality of Coach Jared Hamill and Coach Tim Bourdonnais. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll mention, no matter if you're home or away, if you're doing the teaching and the learning, don't let him go. Keep the fire burning. Good job, man. Hey, thanks. Thank you. Hey. I'm just a manager. You did a good job. Thank you. See you later.